YouTube channel and podcast. It is Dr. Jordan Edders now, Dr. Jordan Edders Boyd. I have gained a new last name. So it's midsummer, it's July, it's hot. And when you turn on the cold water, it comes out hot. So that's how hot it is right now here in Texas. So yes. Yeah, I got married. I got some updates. We got some updates. I got married in May, and that was amazing. That was like wonderful. So, you can always go to my Instagram at I have a point for that on Instagram and see the highlight video of my husband and I getting married. Some clips, some fun clips. It's fun. And I just became a doula. So now I am an acu-doula. So what is that? So it's when you put a licensed acupuncturist plus a doula together, and then you get acu-doula. So I get to offer the best of both worlds. I get to offer acupuncture either during the whole entire pregnancy or after pregnancy. Sometimes you can even offer during pregnancy if everybody, not everybody, excuse me, if the mom consents, right? Everybody has to, if the mom needs to be the one to make that decision. So nobody's forcing anybody to do anything. Everything is always a choice when it comes to adding acupuncture to your doula services. So that is what I'm offering. So this month, July, earlier this month, I finished my training with the Doulas of Discernment program. The instructor, her name is Deshawn. She owns Harmonious Birthing here in Houston, Texas. And I had a very, very, very good experience with this whole process. And just us sitting in the class and like all of the ladies being there, and it's just like everybody's coming from different areas of knowledge. Some people are already doulas and they're doing their continuing education, and then there's a lot of us that are just new to this whole process. And everybody was just very helpful and encouraging with each other. So that's what I really appreciated with this whole training program. I do have a 6-month mentorship through the doula expansion program throughout Houston. That's we're calling this DEP. It is basically sponsored by a few different channels and avenues. Sometimes I can't even keep up with how many people are involved in this particular program, but the DEP program, which brings doulas to the community, into different communities in Houston, especially the underserved and underprivileged communities in Houston. So it does give everybody an opportunity, basically, to have a doula, because having a doula should not be a privilege. It should be, it should be like, it should come with that, it should come with your prenatal care, basically. It should come as a normal thing, right? It shouldn't be an option, is what I'm saying. So, because doulas are essential, they are, or say we are essential birth workers. And even though we are on the non-medical side, we're non-medical birth support for the birthing mother. And we help her through the entire process. And we stand in and support and attend births and help with the comfort measures. So, which means that we'll be getting into helping the mom during her laboring process get into different positions that will help the baby move through the birth canal in a in a way that's going to serve both her and the baby, so that we can have some greater outcomes when it comes to using as less interventions as possible. So it is a studied and known fact backed by evidence that your birth, if you choose to have a doula, will involve less interventions. And I don't use that as like a blanket term, because every birth is different, and sometimes things do happen where, some birth might require a C-section. Just depends on what's going on. But having a doula can reduce those rates, simply because we're there as a support, and we're helping the mom feel comfortable and safe. So whenever you feel comfortable and you feel safe, it is easier for you to have a normal or physiological, or we would say a natural birth that wouldn't require any types of medication, because that is very possible, and it happens all the time. Either if you decide to have your baby at hospital, your home, or a birthing center. So you really want to enter into that with a doula, whichever way you decide. Even if you have found out that you do have to go in for your C-section, and you can still have a doula. You can have somebody there to support you. You can still have a doula. Like, I've heard people say, well, I can't have a doula because I'm going in for a C-section. That's not true. You can still have a doula because you can have them there to support you from the prenatal side, where we would go over the different interventions that you may or may not want. It's helping you make some informed decisions when it comes to that, going over the different processes of birth, or the different processes of having a C-section, prepping you for breastfeeding, and especially if that's something that is really important to you, or helping you prep for that, and then supporting you in the postpartum phase, where we get a chance to help you again make sure that breastfeeding is going correctly, or helping you find a lactation consultant. That's the word I'm trying to say. Helping you find a lactation consultant that can help you with breastfeeding. Now, some doulas are already certified lactation consultants, and that's really good. And for me, on my side, I am a licensed acupuncturist, so I get to add in that factor. So that's what I bring to the table, is combining both acupuncture and doula work together. Acupuncture is, as a doctor of acupuncture and Chinese medicine, I've already been, and sometimes I'll use doctor of acupuncture and Chinese medicine and licensed acupuncturist interchangeably, because in the state of Texas, we have to be licensed through the Texas Medical Board, either way. So if you become a doctor of acupuncture and Chinese medicine and you're practicing in the state of Texas, you're most likely, well, not most likely, you have to be licensed. So that's just it. And right now, those are the only degrees that they're really, really pushing when it comes to graduating from acupuncture school. Anyway, so going back to combining the acupuncture and the doula work. So acupuncture is already can be used as it can be used during birth work, or is birth work in itself, right? Because we have always had a system where we help preserve pregnant women's pregnancies, and help them go through the different phases and the different stages. So whether you are trying to become pregnant, we're there. And there's a such thing also as a fertility doula, just going back to that. So we're also those people that you can come to help with that process during fertility to help increase those rates. Then once you get pregnant, we're still there to support you and helping you through the different things that happen during pregnancy, like nausea, vomiting, heartburn, pain, low back pain, hip pain, all the growing pains that happen, round ligament pain, carpal tunnel even comes up, headaches, all kinds of things that you may not necessarily be able or want to take medication for. We are there to help you through that. And then going into the labor prep process where we are helping you also prep for labor, helping the cervix soften, helping the cervix ripen during certain points to help with that. But we're not forcing the body to induce labor. We're just giving it a little bit of just a little guidance, just a little relaxation, if that makes sense too, because in the world that we live in now, we are exposed to a lot more outside stressors than maybe we were exposed to 50 or 60 years ago. We have a lot more electronics that we are having to deal with and always have like phones. We're always holding our phone. We're always seeing a lot of information very rapidly. And so for a pregnant woman, it can be very stressful to live in this modern world. And it can be stressful to a lot of women work more than they did 50 or 60 years ago, right? There are a lot more women in the workforce than there were back then when women were mostly in the home and they were taking care of them. Not saying that that's not stressful. Let me say that. But I'm saying that being in that working environment is it can be more masculine dominated. And when I say masculine dominated, I'm not trying to be negative when it comes to that, but I'm saying that the hours, it doesn't go with the female cycle to work a 9 to 5 every single day, day in, day out, do the same exact thing, because we are cyclical. As women, we are cyclical beings. As females, we're cyclical. So our time clock should follow a more cyclical thing. So we should be more on, you have more energy. When you have more energy, you do more work. We put out more in the beginning phase of right after our menstrual cycle, after we're done with our bleeding phase. The bleeding phase is that quiet time where you're giving yourself a chance to rest and release. So that time frame is not the same. Everybody doesn't have the ability to just rest during that phase. A lot of us still have to go to work and we're still bleeding. So that can be a lot, right? That's a stressor that can cause a lot of stagnation, which causes menstrual pain and cramps and all kinds of stuff like that. Then you move into your follicular and your ovulatory phase where you have a lot more energy. You feel more vibrant. And of course, you feel more creative, either, outwardly creative or inwardly creative, where you actually want to create another human being. Then you move into that luteal phase. Luteal phase is when things are kind of slowing down. You're kind of reviewing things. You're chilling. You maybe feel you want to eat a little bit more. Your appetite is increased. You want to eat a little bit more, but you don't want to do as much, and that's normal. Okay, so just saying all this to say that when we have these different cycles, like the different levels of our cycle, each week is a different phase. It doesn't always go with the modern world. The modern world is like go, 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 go. Don't stop, don't sleep until you're dead type situation, work, 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 and so that doesn't go with our natural design. That's what I'm trying to say. So going back to the point that I was trying to make with acupuncture helping us through every phase of pregnancy is very similar to how we help through every phase of the menstrual cycle. So we're here to support and make sure that the mother to be is in the most relaxed and peaceful state that she can be in those full 9 months, especially during that time, but even during postpartum, there definitely has to be that balance being made and helping improve and get things back on track, because those are huge shifts in the female body, going from never have been pregnant to being pregnant to now postpartum. And those are those are big shifts that can happen to somebody in 1 year. And thinking that somebody can, get back to normal or to who they used to be is unrealistic. And not saying that you're getting back to who you used to be or not getting back to who you used to be is negative. It's just it's what you do or what you're able to do after that, right? After you've had your child. So we are here to support every phase of that and to help support all of the different emotions and the different hormonal changes and the different body changes that happens when it comes to that. So that's what pretty much I do as an acupuncturist. And what I do now as a doula is that I will be always supporting this whole pregnancy and postpartum process. So that's me merging these two things together. So a typical session could look, or to like, say if you were to, for example, just to kind of do an overview, like what would it look like if you were to hire somebody like me, or you were interested in using my services. You would, we would go through our general, like say if you want to do acupuncture and you want me to be your doula as well. So we'll already have gotten the acupuncture stuff together, or if you're coming to me fresh where you're like, hey, I've never done either of these, let's put it all together. This would look like we're doing your prenatal session. We are getting our intro to introductories done, meet and greet, all that stuff. And we're talking about your case history, what's been going on with you. And then I'm going through all my acupuncture diagnostic stuff, acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine, making a whole basically patient profile for you, and pretty much getting to know what you need and how the direction I need to go with the treatments. So you would be doing acupuncture treatments, and then we'll also meet a few times before your birth, and then to go over your birth plan, your comfort measures, what you want and what you don't want during birth, what basically your ideal situation, and also going through some education and things like that. So then what we'll do, after that, I show up to your birth, and then if you prefer, I can also either, depending on where your birth is happening, let's start off with that. If your birth is happening at home or at a birthing center, we might have a way more, of course, when it's at home or a birthing center, we have way more freedom on getting you acupuncture during that time, during labor. Acupuncture during labor is a real thing. And then if you're at a hospital, it might be a little bit different. Sometimes every hospital is different. So we might have to switch over and actually do acupressure instead of using needles, because of how, I don't want to interfere with what's happening in the hospital. So there's that. And I also can't act as a medical provider in hospitals because I'm not a part of the hospital system. So, So, it's a lot of things that can change in each birth setting, but I'll do my best to provide what needs to be provided in each setting. And then when we move on to postpartum care, that is me visiting you. We're doing acupuncture, doing moxibustion, which I would be doing mother roasting. That's what we call moxibustion in the postpartum phase, helping warm the uterus up, helping get things back in a nourished state, because whenever you've given birth or even gone through a C-section, if you've blood loss happens. And so to help regenerate that, we use a process called moxibustion. And I think I have a video on this, possibly. If I don't, I will make one. I'll kind of go over just a little snippet. But the moxibustion is the mugwort leaf herb. It's dried, it's ground up. They make little cones out of it. And let me see if I can find a stick real quick. Okay, so this is a moxibustion stick. Let me see if it actually, yep. Pure moxa. Let me see if I can get it. I had it in there. Let's see. Yeah, so it's pure moxa rose for mild moxibustion. So basically it comes rolled up in a stick, basically, or like it's a cigar shape. As you can see, I've already lit this one up, but what I would do is I would light this up here, and then I would let it get really, red, blow that a little bit. This one I've already used it, so it's a little bit harder for me to get it lit back up again. I kind of need to tap off this the ashes, but just kind of showing you what I would do. So I would let this get good and red, blow off the ashes, keep a fireproof dish handy. And for me to do like the mother roasting type stuff, I would actually be going over the lower abdomen. So let's just say this is my lower abdomen here, just as a demonstration. And I would go over that area, just kind of giving it some good, nice warmth and heat, because what you really want during your postpartum phase is to be warming yourself up. So keeping yourself warm, drinking warm fluids, and eating warm food, warm and easily digestible foods. And that's something that I'll go into at a later time, but just to kind of as an overview. But that's one of the things that you might be looking forward to, in addition to acupuncture. When if you were to hire me as your acu-doula, and I can go into the benefits of that if you're interested. I'll leave all my information down below. And yeah, thank you for coming back to the videos. And I'm definitely excited to share more information with you all as I progress in this journey. So thank you.